Hey guys, so today I'm going to share with you a little bit about the astrology and numerology forecast for May of 2021. And so I want to say that some of the best news in astrology is coming in June, but I think that we're going to be feeling this disruptive energy still. And I think, all the way until we get that second gone crash with Saturn square Uranus in mid-June, and then it's going to release. So in some ways, we're still building pressure, for this 2 out of 3 gone crashes is what I'm calling them. The first one happened in February, right? February 17th. Here in Texas, we had snow and ice storms that shut down our electrical grid, right? So it might have manifested differently wherever you are. But looking back to February 17th, kind of what was being disrupted or dismantled or breaking down in some way in your life, that's going to be revisited again coming up in June. So I want us to be paying attention to this in May. Maybe it's the right time to get a generator. Maybe it's the right time to do some self-sufficient food farming, right? All right. So that's kind of a bit of a head up. But really, even though May has some rocky moments, every month has their astrological ups and downs. May, I want to say, is one of the best months of the year to rewrite the story of your life. All of us live kind of in a projected version of ourselves until we decide to change that. And some people change that earlier than later. But rewriting is a great theme for May because we have a lot of Gemini energy. We're moving from Taurus into Gemini. So we still have that nice earthy spring Taurus feel going on. But 3 planets will move into Gemini, right? Mercury, Venus, and the Sun. And Gemini rules writing, and it also rules brilliance, and it also rules the ability to pause and pivot. It's the twins, right? So looking at the man in the mirror or the human or the person in the mirror in May is going to be helpful if you can kind of see what you're reflecting or what you're projecting, right? What you're duplicating, what patterns you're seeing in yourself over and over. This is a great time to stop that, right? If you want. If they're positive and healthy patterns, then awesome, keep going. So whatever's coming unhinged, whatever's becoming dismantled, just let's try to reorganize it for the better. It's true, right? Whatever isn't evolving is dissolving, and that's okay. Jobs are changing, the landscape of our relationships are changing, our communities are changing. There's a lot of polarized energy going on right now, and so we want to evolve. Some of the master astrologers that I follow say, follow the children, follow the youth. They are the future. I'm recording this on Earth Day too, so I'm a little nostalgic about the future and the future of food and the future of gardening. And here we are in Taurus season. So you can see my little bee sting right here. I've been beekeeping and trying to learn more about regenerative agriculture and what we can do in our own backyard. But these are good, fun themes to work with for May. May 1st is May Day, right? Beltane. It's a very kind of witchy time of the year too. So May 1st and 2nd, moving into a fuller expression of the spring energies, the Ostara energies. All right, so in numerology, we shift from a 9, right? That sense of urgency, that sense of coming full circle with something, into a 1. And so the 9 and the 1 are bookends. So still with that death and rebirth, and using all of the death, all of the dead plants, for example, to mulch energy and nutrients back into earth to start something new. I was really surprised to see what plants were living again after all of the death that we had in February. Like my elderberry, like I was just really surprised that it came all the way back. So, just letting that be a version of how you can see the numerology working in the world out there. So the 9 using the 9 of April, using all of this kind of death and ending and completion energy to transform into something new, the 1 energy in May. The 1 energy is awesome because it provides a lot of focus, a lot of clarity, a lot of motivation, a lot of drive. It helps with new beginnings and new identities and new logos and things like this. I am so excited that we're redoing the Wise Skies Collective website with the help from my friend April and my colleague April, who also offers readings through Wise Skies. She is very passionate about helping women in business. And so if that's you, please check her out, check her work out. She is a supporter and a motivator and a helpful friend, right? So, okay, so newness, that one energy, things coming up for freshness. I know we just had the Aries new moon, and like that was the time we were supposed to feel all fresh and clean and energized. But here's another opportunity as the numerology shifts into a one. The one is also about universal oneness. Okay, so that coming into one, that one love, right? So there's a bit of a conundrum, you know. You want to watch out for me first attitudes, right? But you also really do like want to put yourself first, and you want to put your needs, put your oxygen mask on first before you can help others. So there's a bit of a conundrum with that type of energy. So you just want to watch out that you don't have your blinders on, and that you recognize your part in that one love and that universal oneness, so that we can all coexist, right? So that's the numerology for the month. But I want to remind you that you also have a personal number each month and year. So we're in a 1 month and a 5 year, but that might be different than your personal number each month. And I wrote a new worksheet to help you calculate that. So if you kind of want to know where you are, just like I write the broad astrology forecast, and then you can take that and see how that affects you personally. The same thing with numerology too. And I just wanted to remind you guys that. Okay, so what is going on in the skies in astrology? May 3rd, Mercury will enter Gemini. This is a very favorite place for Mercury to reside. On May 8th, Venus will join Mercury in Gemini in the constellation of Gemini, the twins. On May 11th, the new moon will be in 21 degrees of Taurus. So wherever 21 degrees of Taurus is in your chart, what house that is in gives you an opportunity to make new wishes, new intentions, set goals. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. I'll go into further detail later in the show. On the 23rd, Saturn will retrograde into Aquarius. We've been here before, don't worry. May 20th, the sun will enter Gemini. So happy birthday, Taurus, up until the 20th, and then happy birthday, Gemini friends. On May 26th, we'll have a lunar eclipse, a full moon in 5 degrees of Sagittarius. And then on the 29th, Mercury will begin another retrograde cycle, also in Gemini. So, Mercury was already in Gemini, and it will have that apparent retrograde motion starting on May 29th, going all the way through June 22nd. This is a long time for Mercury to be in Gemini. So we have a huge opportunity. That's why I'm suggesting the theme of the month to be rewriting the story of your life. Maybe you always wanted to write a book. Maybe you need to write a employee manual. Maybe there's something that you need to do. Maybe journaling is part of your manifestation process, right? But this idea that we have an opportunity to learn and just, I don't know, restory what we've got going on up here so that we can have a different experience out there, right? All right. So what are the major themes of the May astrology? Embracing change. Embracing change. We're going to continue to adapt to unexpected changes all year long. The Saturn-Uranus square is approaching again in June, like I mentioned. What is an example of this? Like the COVID vaccine, right? Everybody's got an opinion. You should do it, you shouldn't do it. It's very much like a lightning rod across the world, and really just your views on the pandemic in general. Can we coexist? Can we live and let live with different opinions? Can we do what's best for us and respect what our friends and neighbors and communities are choosing? Is it possible that there's more than one answer? Is it possible for us to respect each other through all of these changes? Is it possible for us to remember that everybody's going through something pretty heavy right now? So embracing change, but also live and let live. The 2 retrograde cycles I mentioned are another major theme of May. Saturn is going to be backtracking in Aquarius on the 23rd, while Mercury will retrograde in Gemini on the 29th. And you'll feel these ahead of time, but always retrograde cycles give us the opportunity to everything, rethink, rework ideas, redo, research, right? So is there something also that you've been stubborn about that that you're maybe willing to have a different perspective on, looking at things differently, keeping the conversation going, getting a different set of eyes on it, finding solutions through mentors and friends and other perspectives. Gemini season is about that reflection in the mirror. So we've got Mercury, Venus, and the Sun floating into Gemini. Gemini rules education. So reworking the way that we're doing our education systems, especially K through 12, especially, less that the younger grades, right? Mercury is more about grade school than it is in high school than it is about higher education. That would be more of a Jupiter Sagittarius thing, right? So what else does Gemini rule? Sign language, different languages in general, learning, our communication processes, the way that we think about things. It also rules siblings, our brothers and sisters, which relates to that universal oneness. Gemini rules our hands. So musicians that play piano or guitar, or carpenters, or people that use their hands for their profession. Gemini rules the lungs. We're still dealing with this largely respiratory flu-like pandemic situation. Gemini rules the shoulders and duality, and being able to live in contrast, being able to live kind of with a dimmer switch on, where everything doesn't have to be so black and white, or this or that, or yes or no, right? Let's see what else. Overall brilliance, right? Overall brilliance. Gemini has the ability to keep a whole lot of tabs open. So keeping your options open, like that Seven of Cups card in the Tarot, and really just looking at this huge opportunity to pause, pivot, and rewrite the story of your life. It doesn't have to be all at once, but that can look like a vision board. It can look like daily journaling. It can look like conversations with your friends. Just allow yourself to dream a new dream. Mercury is going to spend 10 weeks in Gemini, and some of that will be square to Neptune. So that's important to notice. It's not all like, Tiffany optimistic land, right? Mercury square to Neptune, that things can be very confusing. Neptune dissolves and takes away. Neptune's the great yoga teacher in the sky. I'm not dissing on Neptune, but that general discord of a square between how we think and how we dream is going to give us time to gather new thoughts and new ideas and new information. If you thought it was going to be this way, stay open-minded, keep the conversation going, get different angles to process ideas. And selfish plug to book a tarot repatterning session. If you are running your life on scripts that you don't want to live on anymore, book a tarot repatterning session with me, and we will undo that from a very root level, from early on, so that you can kind of live free of these old beliefs and ideas, and get some tarot magic in there too. All right, where to watch out also, if it's not just this Mercury Neptune square going on coming up in the retrograde period, where to watch out, okay, no, it is that, sorry. That Mercury Neptune square, May 20th through 22nd, is where I think we're going to feel it most heavily, right? So knowing that it's going to have a previous time and a lag time and a hang time. What does it look like? It looks like confusion. It looks like delays. It looks like delusion, kind of living a lie. It can look like overdoses or improper medication. It can look like freak accidents and toxins. It can look like foggy thinking, foggy brain symptoms, right? It sounds scary, and it can be. So just, going over the details, reviewing, just really assessing situations before you make firm decisions. Just knowing that it's okay to be in limbo, that it doesn't have to be perfectly as it's going to be forever. Knowing that this too shall pass, because that's what astrology teaches us, right? So Mercury and Neptune will square 4 times this year: May 22nd, June 5th, July 6th, and December 7th. Okay, so let's shift and look at the lunations of May. So we get the new moon on May 11th, in 21 degrees of Taurus. And so you want to kind of set your intentions and goals with themes of Taurus in mind, or whatever house 21 degrees of Taurus is for you. So what is that? That's like new gardens, planting new seeds. This is about food independence, regenerative agriculture, food preservation, thinking of new recipes and ideas and things to can and preserve your food from the garden. These are like coming up with new menus, coming up with, maybe you've always wanted to write a cookbook. That is my background. I wrote 15 cookbooks before I started focusing on Wise Guys. So if you need help with cookbook ideas, just let me know. I'm happy to brainstorm ideas with you. Casserole clubs, going back to kind of some of those old nostalgic things that some of us grew up with. So what is a casserole club? This is like when you and two friends make a meal, and then you divide it into 2 or 3, and then you share it with each other. So you have food for the week, but you only cook once. Working smarter, not harder, a big Gemini theme, right? So, the new moon is in Taurus. Uranus is also in Taurus. And so this year, we've continued to talk about expecting revolutions in finance and food, seeing some maybe earthquakes or even coming unearthed in some areas. Taurus rules love and money too, right? So making money, new investments that help you feel grounded and secure, things that are more conservative in nature. And also the new moon is a good time to let go of some of the like bad or negative sides of Taurus, right? So if you've been stubborn, if you've been stagnant, if you've been lazy, if you've been stuck in a rut, this new moon is the time to ask for support and assistance in setting up some new habits so that you can take action to have a different life. Moving past these areas, this is an optimal time. So we've got the numerology of a 1, a new moon in Taurus. It's time for some new habits to take root, right? Crystals that you could play with are tiger's eye for empowerment, and always rose quartz for compassion. Anything brown or green or earthy feels good to me too. Pinks, pinks and greens and browns. The Taurus new moon intention that we wrote with Wise Guys, if you want to use it or tweak it, is that I'm connected to the earth and I work with her resources wisely. We want to be good stewards of this earth, this living library. Another new moon intention you could use is that you trust that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, that you're putting down roots, and that you're going to be a good steward of the gifts that you've been given wherever you are. All right, so if the new moon's in Taurus, that means that our full moon is going to be in Sagittarius, in 5 degrees of Sagittarius on May 26th. It's a full moon lunar eclipse. And so, when the full moon's in Sag, this is a good time to catch up on the Travel Channel. This is a good time to catch up on your Gaia TV and get different philosophies, and go back over and read some of your old sacred texts or get back into your yoga practice. But it is an eclipse, right? So this is a serious business. Sometimes it feels like you're living 100 days in one day. Sometimes it's a day of great advancement that makes you almost feel energetically both excited and then very tired. So setting goals and intentions with Sagittarius themes in mind on this full moon lunar eclipse on the 26th. These are things like ending excess. When you go to the store, maybe you just need what you need to eat. Maybe you don't need the candle and the 5 extra gallons of laundry detergent and all of the extra things. It's time to kind of end that and see how free you want to be, living a little bit more minimalistically. Is that a word? Minimalistically. And then, securing travel plans. Now, I know that travel isn't for everybody during these times. Sagittarius has a theme of travel. So if you're thinking like, okay, what's ahead for this summer? Where do I want to bounce around to? Is there somebody I need to visit? Or even if it's just a Zoom, securing travel plans, signing up for university studies, securing university studies. This is another great theme to work with. If you're not in university, you're not planning on traveling, committing to a new mentor or taking on a new mentee, or just like exploring a new field of study and taking it to the next level, right? Sagittarius. Recognizing too what journeys are over, and can you honor them? Maybe there's a sacred fire ritual you want to do. And then let's see, what's next? So looking ahead in June, there's this blessing is coming when Jupiter retrogrades into Pisces, and that's one of the things a lot of the astrologers I follow have been excited about all year. Jupiter retrograde, um, you know, it's like regular meditation, regular yoga, vegetarian diets, connecting with like-minded people become an important part of your routine. Jupiter expands all things good about Pisces, but it can also expand some of the more delusional side of Pisces too, right? So just being careful, getting into your heart of service in June, taking the road less traveled. Saturn will go into sextile Chiron at the end of June, and so some of the roads that we're walking on are leading to nowhere, and that forces a bit of a healing, forces a bit of a redesign, a redirect, a new choice, a new path. Saturn sextile Chiron. This is, Chiron's always about the healing journey, and evolutionary astrology is dynamic. Things are changing. There could be a huge fear of authority or working with authority, or a breakdown in systems like our police systems, or systems that we give a lot of power to. Okay, this can include your personal power. Really, the advice is going to be to stay true to yourself, take responsibility for yourself, and live and let live. Okay, it's just that kind of a year. All right, guys. So that is May at a glance. I did this podcast a little bit differently than I normally do. Normally, I give you the overview and then go into the details, like the play by play of each little transit that's going on. I was finding it was taking a lot of time. I do have them all listed, right? I have the whole year completely written out, but I just wanted to do it this way because it felt like these sound bites might be more useful to you. And then if you're like, where did it go? Like, I want the little day by day transits. There's a free version of the digital calendar online on the calendar page at wiseskiescollective.com. So you can always look on there for free and click around and see what's going on and get those little daily doses of my interpretations of the astrology. And you can also buy the digital astrology calendar just for $35 and download it into any device. I've just had one problem this year, and I refunded that person. I feel like the calendar has gotten better and better each year. And so I'm really proud of the product we're creating, but I'm very open to your feedback. I want to make sure it's something that you like, that you enjoy using. So, right. So what are those little ones? Mercury is going to trine Pluto on May 2nd. This is when we're on a fact-finding mission to importance and, to uncover some really important information, to unearth something. It's a really good transit for writing and researching and exploring new ways of thinking. Venus is going to sextile Neptune that day too. So this is where we dig into art and music and philanthropy. So if you're looking for that more day-to-day, exactly what's going on approach, I encourage you to check out the calendar. Or the blog post for the month too. It has my best days and days to lay low. I'll give you guys those. The best days to enhance love and money in May are going to be the 2nd, the 6th, the 12th, the 18th, the 19th, the 24th, and the 29th. The days to lay low, I'm suggesting, are going to be the 3rd, the 5th, the 8th, the 14th, the 17th, the 20th through the 22nd, 26, 27, and 30. Okay. And this is based on the day-to-day transits. Now, each of you have personalized astrology. So the forecast is going to affect each of you differently. So take that with a grain of salt. And let's see, a card I drew for us for the month of April is perception. All right. So this came out of a tarot repatterning reading I did last week. And I'm like, oh, this is perfect. This is the card I want to share with everybody for May. So this blue star painting, right, with a white buffalo. So it says all humans see differently. You see one thing and someone right next to you can see something completely different. Everyone sees through his or her own eyes, their own personal movie, right? So see the diamond facet of yourself that is clear vision. It's here you find the perception of the divine. All of us has it. Sometimes it's just covered up with dust, emotional misinformation, attachments, or unconscious motives. An ordinary mirror simply reflects back what it has been shown, but the mirror to your soul has a far more transformative, multifaceted viewpoint with infinite potential. As you continue to heal, forgive, accept, and love yourself, you gain wisdom and can release the you who is not you. You break through the conditionings and the dust of your illusions. The appearances and experiences in your world are your personal mirrors of your creation. Every simple thought you have, every moment of appreciation or angry projected expression, every breath you take or scream you make, any kindness you give, and every moment of joy alters the world in some way and creates a future scene in the movie of your life. With the perception medicine card comes informational codes, which provide opportunity for clear vision. In your meditation, allow for the intelligence of this concept, clear perception, to reflect onto all the facets of the diamonds of your life lens, projecting conscious truth and light into your personal movie called life. So, being willing to have a change of perception in May, and working with the medicine of perception. So, I hope this has been useful to you guys. Please subscribe to the channel on YouTube, sign up for the newsletter if you want to get some insider tips. I have a private group on Facebook. It's called the Inner Circle through Wise Skies. And I do free Tarot Friday readings there. So every Friday, you'll see both on YouTube and in the group that I do readings for every sign in the zodiac, starting with Aries, going all the way through Pisces. So I look forward to connecting with more of you. And until we can work together again, guys, happy Earth Day as I'm recording this, and have a great May. Let's keep looking for the stars, and namaste.